Good morning. Time to read chapter 8 of Shiloh. So, in the last chapter, now he's expanded his lie to David, to David's mom, and to the guy down at the grocery store, the butcher store, or the market where he got the cheese and the food and the stuff for Shiloh. So now he's hidden food in the creek to keep it cold. He's lied to all these people. He can't go on too much longer probably without getting caught. And I kind of wonder, is he going to get caught in this chapter or not? And what do you think's going to happen when they find out that he's been hiding Judd's dog? What do you think Judd is going to do? He doesn't seem like the nicest guy. And his parents seem like the kind of people who think honesty is very important. So I'm a little worried for Marty and what's going to happen here. Let's find out in chapter 8. Next 2 days go by as smooth as buttermilk. Shiloh gets biscuits or toast and a couple of bites of ham for breakfast, and then in the evening, I fix him up some frankfurters, cut up and mixed with some sour cream and little chunks of cheese. He don't much like the cheese. It sticks to his teeth and he turns his head sideways when he chews, trying to get it off. Licks his chops afterwards, though. He throws up the first time he eats the stuff. Too rich for his belly, I guess. But after that, he manages to keep it down, and all the while he's fattening out a little. Each day it's harder to see his ribs. I know my secret can't go on forever, though. Only had the dog for 6 days, and that evening I find out that Judd Travers wants to hunt up on our land. Up the hill and over in the far woods. Thinks maybe he could find himself some quail over there, he says. When Dad tells us that piece of news at dinner, my whole body goes cold. I want to jump up and scream, "No!" But I just grip my chair and I wait it out. Ray, I don't like the idea at all, Ma says. You never asked to hunt on his land, and I don't want him hunting on ours. If we let him, we've got to let anyone else who asks, and one of those shots could find its way down here. I'll tell him no, Dad says. Don't like the idea of it myself. I'll tell him the kids play up there. I stopped gripping the chair so hard, but my heart still goes on thumping. I'm thinking how maybe Judd Travers has hold of the idea that I got his dog hid up there, and he's looking for an excuse to go up there and snoop around himself. Having Shiloh a secret is like a big bomb just waiting to go off. Next day, Dad comes home with more news. Good news to him, bad news to me. Can't figure it out, he says, walking through the door with a sack in his hands. Folks are taking to leaving me food in their mailboxes. Lou, used to be it was just Miss Ellison and her banana bread, but found me a ham sandwich today in Nora Klingle's box and a half-baked pie in the Saunders. I look thin to you or something? Ma laughs. Maybe it's just you're the best mail carrier they ever had on the route. Well, we got a half a pie for dessert tonight anyway, Dad says. Oh, brother, I say to myself, maybe Mr. Wallace is doing more talking than I thought he would. Remember, Mr. Wallace was the guy at the store who sold him the frankfurters and the cheese that was kind of going bad. So Mr. Wallace is probably thinking that his family has fallen on some hard times and they don't have enough food to eat. And he's telling other people that they need help. And so other people are leaving food in their mailboxes for their family now. He wouldn't come right out and tell folks I was in his store buying cheap food, but he might just pass it along that the Preston family is having hard times. And that suddenly food starts appearing. That's the way it works around here. The next day, Ma rides into town with Dad, taking the girls along and goes shopping for new sneakers and for Darylyn and socks and underpants for Becky. First time I have the whole place to myself, and I let Shiloh run pure free. Bring him down the hill to the house, feed him the heels off of a loaf of new bread. All the leftover sausage from breakfast and a bowl of milk. Then I let him lick out the oatmeal pan. Show him every one of our 4 rooms. Hold him in my lap on the front porch swing and laugh when he tries to stand up on the seat himself while the swing's moving. I let him smell around the couch where I sleep and crawl under the front steps to sniff out the mole that lives there. Follow him all over creation when he takes out after a rabbit. Then he gives up when he sees that I'm not going to shoot that rabbit anyway. But I figure my luck's going to run out if I don't get him back to his pen soon, so about noon I take him back, and he goes right to the gunny sacks in the lean-to. He's so tuckered out. It's just in time, too, 'cause when I get back and get the dishes done for Ma, the house picked up some, I look out and here she comes up the lane with Darrell Lynn and Becky and their packages. Somebody gave them a lift. You can always count on that around Friendly. Ma's pleased I got the dishes done, I can tell. Nice to come back to a clean house, Marty, she tells me. Had good luck with shopping, too. Wasn't a thing that I bought that wasn't on sale. Darrell Lynn's wore her new sneakers home and got a blister already, but she don't care. She's so glad to have new shoes. When I walk in the kitchen next, Ma's looking at her face in the mirror over the sink. Got her eyebrows raised high. Then she pushes them low. Then she raises them again. When she sees me studying her, she says, Marty, I got frown lines on my face. Tell me the truth now. I look at her good. Sure don't see any, I say. I don't neither. Ma's got a pretty face. Plain but smooth. Well, I don't know either, but 2 people this morning asked me how I was feeling, and one of them wants to know what to take for headaches. I figure that if folks think I'm having headaches, I must be doing a lot of frowning. Whump, whump, whump. That's my heart. Folks think they got a remedy for something. They'll tell it to you whether or not you need it, I say. Sounds so grown up I can hardly recognize myself. So scared inside, though, my stomach's shaking. Ma's taking out all the things she's bought and putting them on the table, taking the price tags off, Becky's underpants and socks. I saw David's mother down at the dollar store, she says, and they've got a relative coming in tonight. She wanted to know if she could bring David up here tomorrow when the rest of them go to Parkersburg. I told her yes. Okay, I say, but all the while I'm thinking, what am I going to do to keep David and keep him off that hill? Take him up toward the old Shiloh schoolhouse maybe and walk along the river. Funny thing is, you've got yourself a dog, you sometimes feel like you don't need anyone else. Used to be I'd be waiting at the window for David Howard to come up here for a visit. Nobody else loves you as much as a dog, except your mom, maybe. That night, Mom makes us fried chicken for supper, first time in a long while. I put away a wing and a thigh on a saucer to eat later, I tell Ma, and I add a spoonful of squash, which might be good for Shiloh's insides. He eats anything. The frankfurters and the cheese and the sour cream's all gone, so I got to be watching for table scraps again, and I go out can collecting soon. Dad's working on the pickup after dinner, changing the oil. Becky and Darrell Lynn's turning somersaults in the grass, and Ma's cleaning the kitchen. Soon as her back is turned, I sneak the food off the saucer and head up the hill to see Shiloh. I can tell Shiloh likes the fried chicken better than he liked the sour cream frankfurter mess that he'd been eating all week. Even eats the squash, and then he licks my hands and fingers to get all the salt off, any place they'd touched a piece of chicken. Since I'd already taken him all over creation that morning, I don't feel he'll miss much if I don't take him out again. So I go around scooping up all the dog dew like I do every day, and I toss it over the fence. Then I lie back down on my back in the grass and cover my face with my arms, our favorite game. Shiloh goes nuts trying to uncover my face, nudging at my arms with his nose, tail going 90 miles an hour. Never whines like some dogs do, though. Even when we're out in the far meadow racing the wind, he'll start to bark and I'll say, "Shh, Shiloh," and he stops right off. I wish I could let him make a little noise. It's not natural, I know, to keep an animal so quiet, but he's happy quiet, not scared quiet like he used to be. I know that much. I move my arms off my face after a while and let him rest his paws on my chest. And I'm laying there petting his head, and he's got this happy dog smile on his face. The breeze is blowing cool air in from the west, and I figure I'm about as happy right then as you can get in your whole life. And then I hear someone say, "Marty?" I look up, and there's my ma. Oh no. Now what's gonna happen? It's time to make a prediction. He just got caught. His ma is standing there, and he's got the dog on the ground with him. What do you think's going to happen?